Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to the Reptile Barn. Buckle up. This is going to be a weird video. Fair warning, no reptile content in this entire video, but it is animal content. We'll be back to our normal Reptile Barn kind of content after this video, but I have just come across this question on the internet so many times, and I feel like it's been answered wrong so many times, I couldn't resist anymore. Had to make a video about it. So here we go. The question is, who would win in a fight between a tiger and a grizzly bear? And I'm like, it's a grizzly bear. Next, move on. And then I see zillions of people in the comments that are like, a tiger would totally murk a grizzly bear. He would unalive him so fast. Really? Is the grizzly bear drunk and asleep and has only one leg? Like, what? So I'm going to try and take a little bit more of a data-driven approach to this and let everybody on the internet know why it is actually a grizzly bear who would win this fight, and it would not be close. Okay, I'm going to go over the 3 S's: size, savagery, and situation. Okay? All right. Size. We're going to be fair about this, and we're not going to take like the biggest, gnarliest, most powerful tiger of all time and pit him against the teeniest, tiniest little grizzly bear of all time. Okay? We are going to consider that there are many subspecies of tigers and many species or subspecies of brown bear, and either we're going to take the average against the average, or the biggest, largest, most powerful individual that's possible from the tigers against his counterpart, biggest, baddest of the grizzly bears. Okay? So, Amur tigers, often called Siberian tigers, are widely considered the largest of the extant, that's currently living, tiger species or subspecies. And the Kodiak brown bear is widely considered the largest of the grizzlies, or of the brown bear group. Although, coastal brown bears, if they are indeed separate from Kodiaks, which is a little bit debatable still, are really just as big, okay, as a Kodiak. They're all eating salmon. They're all in kind of southern Alaska, just gorging on this high protein, high fat, really, really readily available food. They're just a naturally huge bear, right? So, an Amur tiger. We're going to go with data from the 80s because actually today's Amur tigers on average are a little bit smaller than they used to be. Whether that's from prey availability going down or whatever. But in the 80s, it was considered natural for a big male Amur tiger to get over 600 pounds. So to me, a truly epically giant could be 700, or let's just be super generous and say 800 pounds. I don't know if there's been an Amur tiger found in the wild. We're not talking about zoos where they're just fat, but in the wild where an Amur tiger got to 800 pounds, but let's be generous. Let's say he's 800 pounds, okay? On Kodiak Island, today, there are Kodiak bears that are known to be over 1,500 pounds. Okay? We're in the middle of salmon season. These are big boys. So we're going to say that a particularly massive male is 1,600 pounds. That is already twice the size of the tiger. Okay? So the question is over. We don't even have to go to the other considerations. We're gonna, but we don't have to. The fight is done. It wasn't difficult. The bear completely wrecked the tiger. That is that. That kind of size and power disparity cannot be overcome. It can't. Without something like venom or just something that puts you over the top with an advantage, right? Which the tiger doesn't have. The fight is over. The bear destroyed the tiger, tore him to shreds, and that is that. Okay? But that's just based on size. Let's go into the other reasons why the brown bear is going to destroy the tiger. Okay? And by the way, guys, I freaking love tigers. I think they're iconic. They're gorgeous. They're amazing. There were tigers in our Alaska zoo for decades, and that was just like a highlight of going to the zoo. Love tigers. This is not an anti-tiger propaganda video, right? This is just a let's be realistic and stop letting our bias decide something that ought to be decided scientifically, right? So my next category, as I said, is savagery, and I'm going to explain that. I hear the dumbest argument all the time. And yes, this is one of the few topics where I actually do go reading through comment sections. It's a dangerous game. Don't recommend it. But sometimes on this type of video, I just can't help it. And I see this constantly where people are like, well, a brown bear is only an omnivore and a tiger is a pure carnivore. So he's more used to that sort of thing. And that's why he would beat the grizzly bear. The grizzly bear is just an omnivore. They eat plants all the time. Plants don't fight back. Okay, that has to do what with what now? It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Okay? The fact that a tiger is only a carnivore has zippo-doo-dah to do with his fighting ability against another large predatory beast, right? Like, you know what kills a lot of lions in Africa? Giraffes. Pure herbivore. What about a hippopotamus? One of the most dangerous animals in Africa. Again, it's not a lion. It's not a hyena. It is a hippo. A big ball of flub that eats grass and underwater plants sometimes. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Do you really think that a lion is going to beat a hippo in a fight when the hippo is a zillion times bigger than it and has every possible advantage just because the lion is a carnivore? What does that have to do with anything? It has nothing to do with anything. That's so stupid. So I don't get that. The brown bear is a savage. He is used to fighting, okay? Possibly even more so than a tiger. Tigers have these very solitary lives. They certainly will fight, other tigers, for example, when needed. But a brown bear is fighting a lot. Most of these prime males that are fighting over females every single breeding season are going to be in a lot of fights. And so they are used to fighting. Their stamina is so much higher than a tiger's. If this fight lasts more than 60 seconds, the tiger is gassed. The brown bear isn't even all the way warmed up yet. And I'm not just saying that. That is factual. There are videos of brown bear fights. You can go on YouTube right now and look them up, where they fight for 10 minutes straight, 15 minutes straight. It's unbelievable the stamina these things have. And they're getting tore up. They're bleeding everywhere, flaps of fur hanging, and they are still just going at it, right? A tiger just cannot compete with that. He's not savage enough, right? So I don't know what else to tell you. By the way, grizzly bears also have this gigantic layer of fat under their extremely thick pelt. Every single layer from the epidermis to the fur, all of them are thicker and better suited to combat than a tiger. They have way thicker fur, they have way thicker skin, they have way thicker layers of muscle and way thicker layers of fat. All of those things are a massive advantage in a fight. And that does not mean the tiger doesn't have extremely good tools for fighting. They do. They're also very muscular. They have, dense fur, but not like a brown bear. Okay, it just doesn't match up. the savagery of the brown bear is going to overwhelm the tiger. And by the way, all of this is dumb because if these two came face to face, tiger's running for his life. They're not going to fight. It will never be a fight. The tiger will flee if he's not an idiot, right? So I guess if you're throwing them, if you're some evil person who throws animals in a cage and tries to egg them on until they fight, then sure, this could happen, but it's whatever. Another argument I'd like to debunk really quick. Well, tigers naturally prey on bears, like just as part of their natural diet. Yeah, sun bears from India that are like the size of a brown bear's one leg, maybe. That's a completely different thing. And by the way, sometimes the sun bears win. So get out of here with that. Anyway, moving on to strategy. This is the last bit here. Some people, again, I find this very disingenuous. I think if they thought through this, they would know how dumb this sounds, but they say this all the time. Well, tigers are super, super, super elite predators. They can even prey on gar and water buffalo. These are 2,000-pound animals that have really, really excellent defensive features, the horns, the sheer bulk, the speed, the hooves, and a tiger's still taking them down. That's bigger than a brown bear, even than a really, really huge brown bear. So if they can take down one of them, surely they can take down a brown bear. They're these elite hunters. Okay, cool, I'm with you. We were not talking about hunting. If we were, I might want to bring up that a tiger is usually only successful in 1 out of every 15 to 20 hunts. So if you're trying to use that as a statistic, it's going to hurt your cause, not make it stronger. Because they're solitary predators and the things that they're going after are extremely fast or extremely large, things like deer, gar, their success rate is just a lot lower than something like a lion, right? Who's going to be hunting in a huge pack. A pride, right? Sorry, I don't want to get my terminology messed up. Regardless, yes, they can and do hunt incredibly fierce and powerful animals like a gar. But we were not talking about a hunt. If you're trying to say, oh, there's a bear sleeping in a meadow and a tiger is stalking it, and then it's going to race up and try and, bite through the neck or choke it out or something, I don't think it's going to work. But that's not what we were talking about anyways. We were talking about a fight. These animals encounter each other and they're battling to the death. That's what we were talking about. They already know the other is there. Okay? Because if a tiger is asleep in a meadow and a bear gets a hold of him before he realizes, he's going to shred the tiger too. That's a different, how good they are or bad they are at hunting is a different thing. And by the way, grizzlies can and do hunt moose, which are unbelievably fast and powerful and large. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about the situation in which this question has to have its context, right? That this is a fight, this is a battle, this isn't really a assassination, right? Like a hunting trip would be, where you don't want the prey animal to know you're coming till you've already latched on. That's a different thing. We're talking about a fight. So to recap, in a fair fight, there is just no question in my mind. And I'm sorry for all you tiger people. I just don't see it. If I've missed something, there's some obvious piece of information that I just have somehow missed, please let me know. But I'm not seeing it. Brown bear wrecks tiger 10 times out of 10, 100 times out of 100. That is all. So disagree with me, hate on me in the comments. That's fine. That is my opinion. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, we're the Reptile Barn.